Well, it's time for episode 395, our Groundhog Day edition of 3 Point Podcast. We're presented by the Memorial Healthcare Wellness Center. Make sure you get in shape with a membership today. Make sure you also follow the Wellness Center on Facebook and download their app. Are they great partners? And I do mean great. AZee Branding Solutions, Blackstones Public House. You guys know I went to the little soft opening there, and they got a few bugs to work out. But the food was fantastic, man.
Did you say you had blackberry wings? Is that what you said you had?
Blackberry barbecue wings is one of their specialties. It actually won a nationwide award. It sounds really weird, but I got to tell you, it's fantastic.
It is strange. Yeah. So is it? I mentioned that to my wife when you said, "Is it like a blackberry jam?" Or is it like what is it on the wings?
I don't know what it is that actual blackberry, some sort of sauce, but then it kind of bakes it to that hard caramelized crust, on the wings.
Okay.
Fantastic. The mac and cheese is another one of their specialties that was really good. And also their French fries are called Sidewinder fries. Big hit. They're done just right. So much for my losing weight plan, but we do appreciate Blackstones Public House for being on board, along with Great Lakes Apparel Company, Jacobs Insurance Agency, I should say, Kori Shook & Associates Real Estate Services, Nelson House Funeral Homes, Nichols Painting, Success Group Mortgage and Servicing, the Shiawassee County Fair, and our sponsor spotlight, ALS of Michigan. Every dollar raised stays in the state of Michigan to provide essential care and support for those battling Lou Gehrig disease. To request information, call 1-800-882-5764. Speak with a caring staff member. We got to find a cure for that terrible disease. But guys, a little catch-up time. It seems like we've been dwelling on the weather lately. And again, Matt, you've been hammered with it down there in Carolina.
I know. I thought I escaped the winter by coming down, moving to the Carolinas, and for the most part we have. But yeah, we're recording right now on Sunday night, and yesterday, Saturday, we got hit with some areas of Charlotte over a foot of snow, the most snow in one recorded day since like 1880, or it was something crazy like that. Tied a record since like 1880 or something. So I mean, we've been down here about 10 years. We've seen an inch or two, and that kind of makes people go crazy. Like we talked about last week with winter storms, but this was a legit snowstorm. I mean, legit. We probably got where I'm at in South Charlotte, probably about 6 or 7 inches. And I mean, nice, fluffy, cold snow because it's really cold too. So we got out, did some sledding. We had to, my family, they were texting me. They're like, do you even have a snow shovel, or, do you even have this or that? And we don't have a snow shovel. So we used a broom to sweep off our driveway. We had a dustpan with the broom to kind of get the other stuff. And there was some ice buildup. So we were like, I wonder, we obviously didn't have the rock salt that you go out and buy. And we were like, I wonder if just regular old table salt would work, and it does. So we had the big thing of like table salt. My wife's out there salting the sidewalk by her. So I mean, it was fun. The kids have been out, they've been loving sledding and just kind of rolling around in the snow. So it's been a good time.
Another option for you just in the future, water softener salt, if you want to get a bag of it. If it's that bad, and just spread that out, that'll work too.
That's true.
Yeah. How about you, Jared? You doing all right?
Yeah. Is water softener salt, is that everywhere? Like that's a nationwide, that's a worldwide thing, I guess is what I'm asking. That's not just cold weather. That's not just a Michigan thing. That's a dumb question, but...
Yeah, no, it's not a dumb question. You're still learning your way through this world. Worldwide, you have water softeners, so you need water softeners.
Well,
yeah, that's true.
No, that's a fair question by Jared, because actually my response when you said that was going to be, I have never looked for that in a store once in my life, so I haven't got to that point.
Home Depot, Walmart, they all carry it.
That's it's something that's waiting for me at my parents' house every time I go there to unload it. Oh, there's 10 bags waiting for you to get dragged to the basement. It's like clockwork. So that's what I'm used to. It just shows up at the house.
Yeah.
Or what did Ted have you do? Sling around a bunch of mulch and.
Yeah. I still don't think he's happy with that mulch job. I don't know. I guess we've never really chopped it up about it.
It was okay.
I think it came in over your budget, but that's just good mulching, in my opinion. So it was. I don't know.
That's one of those things. It's more my wife wants the mulch done. I was satisfied. Just a thin layer is okay for me, and just stay on top of the weeds. That's okay with me. You went like 2 or 3 inches deep.
Hey, you pay for the professionals, man. You're going to get a professional job. I guess whether you like it or not, I could have just slapped it down. But no, other than that, I mean, weather hasn't affected me here. Like I said, people were worried last week about the freezing cold. Just never. It got cold here, but never, 30 degrees, I think is all it was for maybe 6 hours. And then we were on with life. So it is funny to see how people overreact. Not even overreact. I mean, we talked about it a little bit last week. It's you're overreacting until that doomsday scenario actually comes, and you're without power for a week, and then like I would have been an idiot just sitting here and not preparing for it at all. So I'm just glad it didn't hit us too hard this time.
By the way, last week we had Jeff Kimmerly on. Sometimes timing's everything on this podcast. Usually we're behind the 8 ball, but we were able to schedule him last minute on the hot topic about the paying high school athletes. And it got quite a bit of reaction on our podcast. There was a lot of stuff here locally. It was in the Argus Press with some of the local coaches talking about it. So it was definitely a timely interview and a lot of good information from Jeff Kimmerly. So that worked out really cool.
Yeah, I think that was a hot topic last week. I mean, I remember when I saw that first posted, next thing I know, on the Twitter feed, that's all I saw people talking about. And most of it was doom and gloom. Oh, here we go. The end of high school sports. And then you start mixing in the public versus private thing that has been a hot topic for a while. So yeah, it was good to have him on and maybe clear some stuff up. And this isn't anything bad about what he said. Didn't really clear much up about the public private school thing. It seems like that's a to be continued topic, but you hope that, I mean, I think Jared, you asked him as far as like what they've seen from other states that have had the PBA or NIL. Doesn't seem like it's going to be that big of a deal, like in the long run. And I guess we'll see, but yeah, it seems like what the Argus, some of the local coaches kind of said that, right? They didn't think it was going to be much of anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
To me, it was, basically, somebody sent it to me after we talked to him, is like, this was essentially a smokescreen by the MHSA to let's push this. It's a big topic, really without any, salt behind it to cover up some of these other issues, like I said, private, public, divisions. We've talked about that ad nauseum. I mean, travel for these football games where teams are traveling 7 hours. We talked about that before. So I'll be honest, I kind of wish I'd thought more about some of those other issues that we've had and could have maybe asked him a couple of those and got answers on those. But it's NIL. Actually, I had a former coach text me that he said, you would have done good with NIL. I was like, what? No, I don't think I would have made a single cent off. I thought it was kind of a crazy text, honestly, when I received that.
From a coach.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if he was busting my balls or not, if I'm being 100% honest, but
could have been.
That was definitely sent to me. Me and another guy named Ethan, who's a wide receiver on my team.
Right.
So I kind of said, what? I didn't say, I just felt like, yeah, maybe we would have, but no, unfortunately not.
I mean, like we said, I think Ted and I are a little more on the side of, you could have made a few bucks.
Sure.
I mean, the millions, like you said, the Bryce Underwoods of the world, like him, probably not. But you could have gone locally and, I don't know, Little Caesars in Corona or something.
Free food, man.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. And then I was thinking about with the paperwork. Like, I'm like, man, if I was doing this and let's say it was like free pizza. Hey, you get one free pizza a month. Like, filing that paperwork, getting the MHSA to sign off on it. I was like, almost like, I don't even know if it would be worth the hassle.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. The MHSA is a good community, and we love Jeff. He's great. I love having him on the show. It is one of those things where we need to take a look at some of the other stuff.
Right.
Well, for sure, like Matt said at the beginning, it's for further conversation, and we'll certainly have those convos. And Jeff, I'm sure, would be willing to come on and talk with us about it too. So let's table that and get our questions ready for, the other stuff, the other important things. But, another thing I like to do here, it is 3 generations. I'm the old fart, all right, for sure. But there's questions and comments we make on different things, and we try to stay away from the political world. And there's one thing I just wanted to bring up, and, not to piss anybody off, because great Americans are on the left side, great Americans are on the right side. There's great Americans right in the center. But the one thing with all the stuff that's been going on lately that just really bugs me the most, and, the big story is in Minnesota, and the big thing is with ICE and illegal immigrants. And I think all 3 of us probably agree they need to take care of illegal immigrants for sure. They shouldn't be here. It's against the law. There's got to be a way to handle it. I don't think anybody in this country disagrees with that. But I think the thing that they're missing, and the thing that we've had forever, is our police, sheriff's department, local police, Michigan State Police, FBI. When they're dealing with serial killers or they're dealing with other bad criminals that are U.S. citizens, they don't all march down the street, mask up, barge into these houses, make this big spectacle. Why can't they do it more like police? If you suspect there's an illegal immigrant in this house, just like you would a killer, you scope out the house, you wait till he comes outside, and you nab him and you arrest him. I mean, right. That's the one thing I totally disagree with the way they've been handling things. So I kind of teed it up. I don't know what your guys' thoughts on, but it's been bugging me big time.
It's definitely a hot topic, and it's become so divisive, and everything nowadays is so divisive. It seems like if you offer an opinion or if you bring stuff up, it's just going to cause an uproar, one way or the other, whichever way you're kind of offering your opinion, one way or the other.
Sure.
It is, the optics of it all is kind of crazy. It looks like it's like a terrorist attack going on with these ICE, officials or whatever the heck you want to call them, because they're in like full like military garb basically, and they got the mask and the goggles, and it does kind of just look like what are we trying to do here? Right. Is this like a military operation going on, like when they went and got Osama bin Laden or something? Like, is this what we're doing? And so I've definitely thought the same thing, that it looks really intense, maybe like worse than it should. And I think it's one of those things that you talk about the generations. Jared, you're probably learning as you're growing in life, and now you're moving to different areas as you talk to different people, meet a lot of different people. I think in general, most people fall mostly down the middle, and maybe lean a little left, lean a little right on certain topics or whatever. And it's just the extremes both ways that make it seem so like the world is falling apart and everything is terrible and the U.S. is burning to the ground and everything. And it's kind of a shame that we have some people in leadership positions that are like fueling that divisiveness and, the hate and stuff. But that's just what I always think is like, yes, there's good things on one side, there's bad things on other, there's good and bad on both sides. But I think most people, when you talk to them, tend to like agree on most stuff, and then maybe lean a little bit one way or the other. And that's where it's just a little frustrating to me that it's like, why can't we just come to that? Why can't we just sit there and have a conversation and say, man, I don't really agree with you on that, but I can see what you're saying, and
that's a perfect point, Matt. Why aren't our politicians having these conversations? Why isn't Congress communicating? Why aren't they coming up with some common sense solutions? Again, I don't want to make this a political hot thing, because obviously there's two sides to every story. There's one way of looking at it, there's another way of looking at it. But it's, like you said, the optics are bad. I think they went overboard. My own personal opinion, I think they went overboard. Yes, we have a problem with illegal immigrants. There's no question. We've done a great job at the border, but now it just seems there's another kind of motive to do all this, and the way they're doing it, just like you said, doesn't look good.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm uneducated on it. I'll be honest. I have heard about these ICE raids and like you said, the optics of them. To me, with police and that type of role is, I mean, let's just say somebody's resisting arrest. I guess how are you supposed to, without causing a scene, I guess, get this person like under arrest so it's, I don't like, if I was in that position doing that job, like, which is it technically a government job? I would assume. Yeah.
I mean, I think they just, it's fairly recent where they've had this department under the federal government.
Right. So I don't know. I don't envy anybody in that position having to do that. Like you said, this is definitely maybe a little overboard in some sense, where it's like, if somebody was born here, they're 25 years old, maybe their parents came here illegally, I don't think they should be getting taken out of the country. But again, I'm not gonna act like I'm super smart on it. I'm not. You guys are definitely a lot more buttoned up on it than I am. It is what I don't know. It is what it is. Yeah. I'm not gonna say something stupid, and whatever I say is gonna be stupid. So I'm just gonna shut up.
That's all right. I mean, it's just a topic that had been bugging me. And, I think our police out there do a really good job. I've seen enough Datelines in 48 hours and, these shows, I see how they do it. I've seen how they do it locally. It's just, I think it just kind of fueled the fire, and hopefully cooler heads will prevail and they'll get this under control.
Well, and it's, it's in today's day and age where we are just 24/7 media, social media, and we're just seeing really too much content. It's just, we see too much stuff. It's kind of like you see the stuff that happens that's maybe bad with police or cops, and people think that's all of them. If there's this one bad story with a police officer, that's all bad cops. And it's like, that's just not the case. The majority of police officers are in it for the right reasons. And, I would like to think that similar to the border issue and this whole ICE thing, most people probably agree. Yeah, we probably need to tighten up the border and clean up the border and, clean up the whole immigration issue. Do we need to go to the length that some of these raids are going? I would think most people probably agree, probably not. But, so it just seems like it seems like we can't be in the middle. You have to be right or left. You have to be this way or that way. And it's like, why can't we all just be like, hey, together, this isn't cool.
Well, you would think, and again, I'm not going to dwell on the topic, but you would think, okay, we're taking care of the border, and ICE was formed, and ICE has been assigned to take care of criminals, illegal criminals, right? So it seems that they've pushed the envelope on that, and they've expanded it just to illegals, which I think you do have to take care of it.
Right.
But your focus should be on the criminals to start with, and then go after that, down the ladder, is my opinion. But what do I know?
Wouldn't technically the illegals be criminals?
Right. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I saw that on George Stephanopoulos today.
I was just going to say, I mean, that's technically, you could say they're all criminals, I guess. Right. Again, I don't.
And that's part of the argument too. Yep.
There's major crimes and there's misdemeanors too. So, I mean, it's all levels of different things. So it's a topic that unfortunately or fortunately we don't have to take care of, but somebody needs to deal with it for sure. Now, let me switch topics real quick before we get into some basketball and some football. In this cold wintry weather, sometimes, I'll dig into my DVR and say, I haven't seen this show. I want to check it out. And I've seen the show once before, but I wanted to watch it again. It was the E60 on the 28 out perfect game.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
What a show, man. And I don't know about your guys' thoughts. Obviously he got screwed out of the perfect game, but the precedent was set for the commissioner could have stepped in and say, you know what? The umpire blew it. Jim Joyce admits he blew it. It's a perfect game, but they're not going to do that. But they did that on what was it? George Brett, the Pine Tar game. Right. He hits a home run. They call it no good, but after the fact, they allowed it.
Right.
So the precedent's there. And the other thing is, if you're not going to call it a perfect game, shouldn't Galarraga at least be in the Hall of Fame on that list? I think there's like 25 or 27. Have him right at the bottom and with an asterisk say 28 outs or however you want to word it.
This is almost like the Lou Whitaker thing. It's almost better that we wouldn't be talking about. I mean, I can't name who else is at a perfect game. Dallas Braden. I don't even know. Mark Burley. I can name probably 2 or 3 people on the list. I know Armando Galarraga's name. You wouldn't know him if it didn't happen. It was what it was. I actually love that the commissioner didn't retroactively make it a perfect game. The perfect game, when you think of a perfect game, it's that lasting image, everyone dogpiling on the pitcher's mound. Just 3 days later today, yep, you threw a perfect game. I don't think Galarraga would feel very satisfied with that. Like, I threw a perfect game. He knows he threw a perfect game. We all know he threw a perfect game. It's almost better that it's the 28 out perfect game in that sense.
Yeah, and I gave that. I agree with you. I gave that thought a while back when we brought up the topic. I just think he belongs in the Hall of Fame on that list. That's all. It doesn't have to be listed as a flat out perfect game. Here's one for you. It was talked about, and I remember when I was a kid, this happened. Harvey Haddix. You ever heard of him?
No.
Harvey Haddix of the Pittsburgh Pirates. All right.
Against this isn't in the baseball 100 book.
It might be. I haven't got that far yet.
Maybe.
Harvey Haddix against the Braves took a 12-inning perfect game and lost it on. And get this, he lost it on a home run by Joe Adcock. Adcock passed Hank Aaron on the base pass, so it went down as a double, a 1-0 win. But Harvey Haddix went 12 perfect innings.
Right.
He did what? He lapped somebody on the base paths?
Yeah, after hitting it over the wall.
I don't understand, man. What old timey baseball, man? I swear they were drunk. It makes no sense. Like everything you just said was crazier than the last thing. Yeah, but again, it's not a perfect game.
Right.
You got like that is isn't that just a crazy scenario to imagine played out where you threw a perfect game, but your offense just couldn't muster up one run. Exactly. It's kind of amazing we haven't seen another situation like that, even with a no hitter or something like that. Where it's gone into extra innings. So that is actually pretty fascinating. I'm with you. Harry Haddix. I saw he's nicknamed the Kitten.
Harvey Haddix. Harvey.
What did I call him?
Harry.
Oh, yeah, Harvey Haddix. Nicknamed the Kitten from what I'm reading on his Wikipedia page right now. So pretty amazing. You need to bring in a factoid, especially with baseball season approaching, and you can taste it. I mean, we had Astros Fan Fest here last weekend. I wouldn't hate a nice factoid every week leading up to opening day. I think it's a nice way to get us back in the swing of things with baseball. I'd appreciate it.
Not a bad idea. I do come across them every once in a while on Twitter, and there's some amazing baseball stats out there that are just like Ripley's Believe It or Not type of stuff,
For sure.
Okay, well, just a little tidbit for you there. It just got me going when I saw the E60, man. It was really well done. And what was the whole point of it was there a college that did a bunch of research, then submitted in to the commissioner of baseball to make it a perfect game, but that's where he dug in and said no. So okay, it is what it is.
Somebody paid $5,000 for that.
Yeah,
to study Galarraga's perfect game for a semester. That's college for you, man.
It was one hell of a game, though, man. He had his sinker ball just working. It was awesome. And one final little tidbit in that game that I forgot about. The 26th out, the fly ball to deep center field.
Oh, yeah. All-time play. Oh, Jackson!
Yeah. Austin Jackson play.
Austin Jackson, man. What a catch.
Oh, that's what they always say. In those perfect games or even no hitters, there's always one or two defensive gems that just save it. And Austin that call from Rod and Mario, O Jackson, is just legendary.
Classic. All right, let's take our first little break here and come back and get into the sports world right after this. All right, guys, Friday night. We're recording this on Sunday night, but Friday night, the big matchup we'd all been waiting for. Number 3 Michigan taking on number 7 Michigan State at the Breslin Center. Michigan jumped out and looked like they were going to just dominate things. All of a sudden, Izzo makes some halftime adjustments. You've seen it many, many times. They come back, take the lead, actually. And most of the times you see teams just collapse, and Michigan somehow just regained their composure and came away with a big win. But a couple observations on that game. You guys know I'm a big Tom Izzo guy, but he's very demonstrative, very intense, very into it. And I got to give Dusty May a whole lot of credit. As that lead evaporated, there was no panic on his face at all, none. And he just was calm as could be. The team played that way and advantaged Dusty May in that contest because of that attitude, in my opinion.
It is kind of funny to see the two different ways that people can coach. And I had somebody else text me that Tom Izzo never shuts the F up. I love Tom Izzo, and a lot of great coaches have that demeanor. I mean, Danny Hurley, another great coach, not Danny. Yeah, Danny Hurley, another great coach, same exact way where it's every game. It's just nonstop on these referees.
Yep.
And there must be a rhyme or reason to it, and it must probably help you when it comes to the whistle, but it is kind of crazy. I could never do that. I could never be that way. It's just crazy, man. I'm with you. I like the Dusty May way of approach where maybe when he does say something to the ref, the ref probably thinks to himself, man, I really screwed something up because he's letting me know. Whereas Tom Izzo, it's like, dude, I could call a game perfectly and you're still going to freak out on the sidelines.
Right.
So I'm with you on that.
Yeah. I mean, my friends and I, we always text like, how doesn't Tom Izzo have more technicals in his career? I mean, some other coaches, when they let into a ref, they get teed up right away. But I mean, he's obviously built up. He's legendary status, so he has a little bit of a leash with the referees. But I wanted, before we get into the game a little bit, the thing that's gotten probably the most legs in that game. Well, there's a couple things, but one of them that I wanted to ask Jared about, because he's probably one of the bigger haters out of the three of us on stuff that goes like viral, is the Dusty May pregame.
Oh
yeah.
All people keep saying is he has just incredible aura walking out there, sitting on the bench with the Spartan, the Izzone just screaming at him. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought his comments after the game where he said like he walked out to kind of see, check out the Breslin, see the environment. And when they started going at him, he was like, I can't walk away from the smoke now. I've got to go out here and soak it in. And that's what kind of created the whole moment. So I thought it was cool, but I'm curious, both of your guys's, but I'm curious Jared's thoughts on that whole situation.
It was awesome. I mean, to me, what the people that look like clowns in that is I've always laughed at the IZone. Like, man, we are legendary. We're in the IZone. Those guys thought they were so awesome, dude. It was funny. Like, I'm not even necessarily hating on that. I've never been the person in the crowd cheering, like doing the chants, doing the cheering. I remember I went to a Lions game with my dad and he was like doing all the chants, and it was, I almost had to pound like 8 beers just like to, kind of start doing it with him, I guess. But Dusty May's awesome. I mean, we went back and forth, and I definitely hated the whole Spartan head thing. But I kind of loved how snarky he was after the fact, talking about like, man, how am I supposed to know all the ins and outs of traditions? And Michigan State was being a little bit overboard with it. So you had to love him walking out there, having the presence of mind to say, I can't just turn around and walk back in and, look like a coward. I'm going to sit here and just take it in. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall hearing what they were yelling at him. I hope it was vulgar. I hope it wasn't, just PG, you suck. I hope it was like some pretty explicit stuff. That would have made it even better. But no, I thought it was awesome. It was a cool, it's a all-time photo moment is what that was.
Isn't it good to see this as a true rivalry again? I mean,
right.
Izzo said, I hate Michigan, but I respect the coach and I respect the program, but I hate him. And, Dusty's the same way. And,
right.
There was a little bit made of the fact after the game on the handshake.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think it was a big deal. I mean, Izzo shook his hand. What do you want him to do? Put his arm around
him?
It
was a blow by. It was kind of a blow by.
It was a blow by, but he at least shook his hand.
Which I don't have no problem with. They do seem kind of like two total opposites where, I mean, you look at the Michigan State team, Izzo has not done a stellar job on the recruiting trail, has done a stellar job in the transfer portal. But, I mean, you talk about having a will to just Michigan State, you talk about a goofy team. Each player is like somebody out of a clown car. They're number 99. They look like a clown. They all look horrible, but they found a way to will themselves back into that game. I mean, Michigan seems very superiorly talented, but I would say Izzo's a better, coach when it comes to developing a team and getting the most out of them. But 100%. Can't argue with the results that Dusty May has done at Michigan. You know what else is a big part of coaching, especially in college? Let me just get the best players and they'll figure it out. And that's what he's done. So it is kind of funny. I do think they actually hate each other. I seriously would say that. You don't do the smart. It's the same with, we talked about it with Beeline and Izzo. Beeline wouldn't have had his players stand on the Spartan logo when they're trying to do their tradition. Dusty May, if he hates Michigan State, hates that program, hates Izzo, he's having them do that. So I loved it. It was a great game. I mean, it looked like Michigan was going to blow them open. And then, like I said, Michigan State just willed their way back into it. I still seriously think Michigan State is severely flawed, but they showed me a lot in that second half that they really are going to be a tough out against anybody. At some point, I really just think their lack of being able to shoot a three, lack of being able to simply just put the ball into the rim is going to catch up to them sooner than they think. But you had to respect how they fought.
Yeah. And Tom Izzo teams are always going to fight. I think I tweeted it out, like even when it was 18-point game at half, I was like, this game's not over. Like Michigan State is going to battle back. I didn't think they'd battle back and take the lead. I thought they would, make it a game, but I was like, wow, this is a hell of a comeback. And I think we said it last week on the podcast. One of us said like, there's going to be a Cohen card dunk that is just going to blow the roof off that place. And of course, right before halftime, he drives the lane and gets like this just busted defense dunk. Yeah. And I texted some friends. I was like, that might have sparked him right there. Next thing you know, he's got like 3 dunks.
Yeah, he did another one in that run.
And it was like, dude, this is just insane. But no, I think real quick, it does seem like Dusty May and Tom Izzo do not like each other. There's the mutual respect, of course, but it seems like Tom Izzo's the old school guy that we know about. Jared, you said it, not really the portal guy, not really the, snagging the one and dones. He's gotten a couple one and dones, but usually he gets the guys that are there for a few years. Dusty May almost seems like the complete opposite. He's going to crush the portal. He's going to, he's going to get his recruits like Trey McKenna.
Be a totally new team next year.
Right. Mm-hmm. Totally new team, maybe except for like 1 or 2 guys. And so I almost wonder if Izzo, again, not respect, but if Izzo just doesn't like the way he goes about it, type of thing. I don't know if there's some, dislike there because of how he recruits and just hammers the portal and stuff. But Dusty May has been to the Final Four more recently than Tom Izzo. So maybe there's a little bit of bad blood there.
Izzo probably had a case too about the referees. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are, but that Cheddar fake pump and drew the foul. You got to be kidding me that they upheld that.
Yeah, that was
ridiculous.
That was
a pretty bad one. But fears all night was just drawing, just pitiful. Like, I mean, stuff that's like this is
like Brunson, man. He's like Brunson, where you hate it. It pisses you off to watch, but you almost got to respect it. He's really kind of been blowing me away with his last week or two. I can't believe how good he's been.
Yeah,
I mean, without a jump shot, he's doing all this. So
the problem is, I think you kind of said it, Jared. The problem is, I think he's about their only legit scoring option.
Right.
I mean, he honestly, it's him and then just a bunch of role players and hoping that Cohen Carr gets 6 dunks. Is basically what they are. So like you said a little bit ago, they'll be a tough out. They always will be. This could be a team that makes a Sweet 16 run, or this is a team that gets a bad matchup in the second round and gets beat by someone because they don't have enough scoring. So that's just where I could see Michigan State fans. You're never going to turn on Tom Izzo. That's just never going to happen. But there could be some growing frustration of like, hey man, like this is 2026. We need to hit the portal at least a little bit. I mean, look what Michigan did. Michigan got 3, 4 NBA players in the portal. So I mean, you got to do it a little bit.
Where'd Yaxel come from?
UAB.
UAB.
Yeah.
Dude can play.
I don't know where I came up with that. He really can. He's the best player on the floor and kind of a super athlete. He's had a few dunks this year that kind of make you go, wow. And he made some big time plays down the stretch. Cheddar hit a huge 3 at some point. Every point was huge for Michigan in that second half. They couldn't score. Who Michigan State is really missing, and I don't understand why he jumped to the NBA, man. If they had Jace Richardson,
absolutely,
they're the number 1 team in the country this year. It's just. I don't know, man. I'm sure he's loving life in the NBA. Seeing the whole world, seeing the whole country, and all that, the NBA life that it provides. But my God, man, you couldn't come back one more year. We'll give you $5 million.
No,
come back one more year. What's the difference? You go 28 next year instead of 14 or whatever he ended up going. They would have been really a tough team to beat. They're a tough team to beat without him. So imagine with him. But yeah, Axel, I'm with you. We're going to go as far as he'll take us. So, he had a good game. What do you have? Like 21 and 11? Is that what he ended up with?
And he's one of those guys that
26
and 12. And he's had a few games where he's like, it pops off, but like, he's one of those guys that you don't notice too much. And then next thing you know, his stat line comes up and he's got 21 points, 10 rebounds. And you're just like, oh, wow, that kind of came out of nowhere. I agree. I think he needs to be healthy. He needs to carry him. I saw something like the numbers of their offense with him on and off the floor is just like night and day. They're basically like bottom of the Big Ten with him off the floor, and they're number 1 in the Big Ten with him on the floor. So they go as he goes. And Trey McKinney, I mean, we talked about him last week as being like the potential maybe second guy to Yaxel. Again, I think he was like a plus 26 against MSU. And in like the last 2 or 3 games, he's like a plus 55 or 58 or something like that. So like, I mean, those, sometimes you look at some of those numbers and you're like, hey, there's not a whole lot to that. I don't know. When you're basically the 6th man coming off the bench against Michigan State at Breslin, and you have like a plus 22 or 24, whatever it was, that's impressive. That's basically when I'm on the floor, we're winning this game by a lot of points. And when I'm off the floor, we're not. So, and for a true freshman to be playing like that, it's impressive.
Good player. We talked about it last week. The basketball season is really kicking into gear. How could we have been treated to a better game than that game? I mean, that's just pure entertainment. I'd pay extra money to do a pay-per-view if I knew I was going to get a game like that. That was awesome.
What I would want, I've said it before with the NBA, if it's pay-per-view, I don't need Gus Johnson. I need Tom Izzo and Dusty May and a couple players mic'd up, and that's all I need. I want to hear what Izzo is saying to those refs. I want to hear. I
tend to agree with what you're saying there a little bit. Gus Johnson is a little bit overboard. He's still good, but sometimes it's an act.
It's corny. I mean, he had the corniest line, like "call your friends" or whatever. When Michigan State was on that run, I mean, kind of a funny line in a sense, but it's like something has shifted in the public's opinion of this guy and calling games. Him and Raftery are. I mean, it's hard for as much as we complain about college basketball, when you have Gus Johnson and Bill Raftery on the call, I'll take it. I mean, that's a pretty solid duo, but he's definitely jumped the shark a little bit. Yeah. The funniest part of Gus Johnson during that game was when they showed Pat Fitzgerald, and he goes, "Yeah, he's there with a big time recruit. You know, I don't remember his name, but he's a big time recruit."
Yeah, right.
Just maybe hold out of that, man. We probably didn't need to throw that out there, or have your stat guy look that up if you know you're going to show him out of the break. But yeah, that was definitely a questionable comment he made.
A little choke job's what it was. Yeah. How weird was it to see Dan Campbell sitting there in his Spartan gear, in the prime seats there? That was
I would hope the only reason he had Spartan gear on was because they gave him those tickets front and center.
It had to be.
Michigan State seems to get all these Detroit players and athletes. Like Devin Booker loves Michigan State. Tarek Skubal loves Michigan State. Mm-hmm. Now Dan Campbell loves Michigan State. I don't know what it is about Michigan. We seem unable to kind of grab these guys and bring them under our umbrella. Holy crap. Dogs are going nuts underneath me. Yeah. I'll be myself. But yeah, I don't know why we can't get those guys.
Yeah, it was interesting to see Campbell there, but an awesome game for him to be at. Yeah, I don't know if we have any more to say about this. The last thing I was going to say is one of you guys said it. Not seeing Michigan crumble when Michigan State basically, they took the lead in the second half. Over the last handful of years when Joanne was coach, those were teams that probably would have crumbled and ended up losing that game by 12 or 14.
100%.
So that was the promising thing to see for me out of that Michigan game, or the Michigan win was, okay, Michigan State battled back, but Michigan didn't crumble. I mean, that stuff's going to happen in the tournament, and they prove they can win.
Well, we've all played sports, and we've been in that situation before, and when that momentum goes completely to the other team, it is so hard to get it back, and Michigan didn't seem to bat an eye. I mean, that was, to me, obviously, the most impressive thing in that game, to pick up that win. It was a great contest for sure. Well, let's move along. Just real quick, like we're recording, like I said, Sunday night, and it's a NBA regular season, but the Pistons just demolished the Brooklyn Nets. Whatever happened to that program? We beat them by about 40 points tonight, and the Pistons just continue to roll.
I mean, it's the NBA. I know, Ted, you've said before that you don't watch a whole lot of the regular season, come playoff time. And I know, Jared, you've kind of wavered a little bit. The NBA regular season, I still love the NBA. I really do love watching it. I don't watch nearly as much as I used to because it's a lot of times games like that, like the Nets aren't very good this year. But if you were like, hey, the Pistons are on TV, I'm going to tune in and watch the Pistons. Next thing you know, out of nowhere, it's a 40-point game. And it's like, this isn't even fun. I mean, I've worked a couple NBA games over the last week or two. Even a lot of those games, it ends up being a blowout. So when you're working it on the TV side, it's just boring. You're just sitting there like, let's just get this game done. This is just boring. Tim Legler, he's one of the main analysts for ESPN. He came out recently and said it's borderline. The players are disinterested. He said something along the lines of like, these games, I mean, once in a while you'll get a game that guys get up for when it's Clippers Lakers, or when it's a decent matchup, but between load management, between other injuries, between guys just being checked out, the regular season it's tough. It's a tough watch sometimes. But the Pistons, that's a whole soapbox. The Pistons are rolling is the main point.
Yes, keep it up, boys. Keep it up. Let's switch topics over to the NFL. You got the Super Bowl coming up this coming Sunday. It's Super Bowl week. What's the Pro Bowl? Is that flag football Tuesday night or something?
I don't know.
I saw a clip right before this of Amon-Ra St. Brown like doing some backflip catch or something.
Oh, I saw that too. Yeah, in the skills competition or whatever.
Yeah.
Did they ruin that thing the second they moved it from Hawaii?
They did.
The NFL's made a lot of right moves really in my lifetime. Not many wrong moves. That moving that from Hawaii, just something about the aesthetic out there. Even if it was kind of this BS. It definitely just helps provide a little more spark to it, in my opinion. Players seem to be a little bit more willing to want to go and have fun there, and I always love the idea of players being in Hawaii for a full week where you can't really run away from those guys, so they're going to hang out, they're going to chop it up, have fun. So Pro Bowl is just a mess in every sense of the word. The Amon-Ra's love it, doing a backflip catch. I don't know, it's lame. As for the Super Bowl, I can't wait, man. It is the best sports watching of the entire year. I don't care. It is kind of a dud of a matchup in a way. If a Super Bowl ever could have one, there's no, red hot storyline coming into it. Patriots obviously have had this amazing rebuild, and the Seahawks, Sam Darnold, big time fan of Sam Darnold and what they've been doing. But do you guys have a rooting interest necessarily? To me, it's just let's just hope it's a good game. I think it's a very good story either way if the Patriots can win or if the Seahawks can win. So I'm just going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm probably leaning to Seattle. I've always root for the NFC usually, and I like the Sam Darnold story. You know, I just think the guy was shit on enough. It's time for him to get some glory.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, for us, I mean, there's not really any guys that I specifically want to win. I like Drake May. I like watching Drake May play quarterback, but that's not enough to make me like root for the Patriots. But I mean, it seems like it's one of those matchups where everyone's picking the Seahawks, right? Because they've just been on a roll for a while. Sam Darnold's playing well. Mike McDonald has their defense just playing lights out. So everyone in the Patriots, I mean, we talked about the Patriots seems to just be like getting by. They have good matchups and everything. So it seems like everyone's picking the Seahawks, which means the Patriots are probably going to win, right?
Yeah,
so.
That's right. You never know.
Are you guys geared up for the Bad Bunny halftime show?
Oh, I can't wait.
It'll be solid. I mean, that was like a point of contention where, we should do a different Super Bowl show. I'll be honest, I don't know any of his music, but I'm sure it'll be a good show. I feel like that was a big pop, like when it initially got announced, and then it's kind of there hasn't really been this hype building toward that performance.
Well, even that, we talked a little bit in the opening, our little bit of political talk that became political.
Oh, right. Yeah, it was an immediate political thing. And then, I always, if it's an artist I don't really know much about, I know who he is. I don't know much of his music. Like you said, Jared, I'm curious who he'll bring out. They're always going to have guests. So, I'll be curious to see who he brings out.
He's usually more upbeat dance type of music, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So it'll get the crowd hopping. It'll be good, I'm sure.
Yep.
Commercials? Do anybody get excited about commercials?
Well, they all come out before the Super Bowl even happens nowadays.
Right.
So it's which I don't really understand why they do that. I saw somebody like posted an important announcement like this week, like when an athlete or a celebrity says like, "Oh, big announcement coming!" Like I got something huge to announce. It's a Super Bowl commercial, so don't fall for that. With the LeBron saying he's going to retire or whatever that was earlier this year, that we all kind of bit a little bit into.
Oh yeah.
But no, Budweiser will have a good one.
Chevy always has a good one.
So I'm looking. It is definitely a big time bonus of the Super Bowl where it is like you just don't take your eyes off the screen for essentially 5 hours. It's kind of crazy.
Right.
One thing I got to throw out for Sports World, and I don't know, I doubt you guys have really touched, watched it, I guess what I'll say, but the UFC becoming no longer under pay-per-view umbrella. It's under Paramount Plus, which from Landman, you guys have been just could carry right over. It's a game changer. One, they moved the main events up an hour early. And that is the number one pro of being here in Texas, the Central Time Zone.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Main event was starting at 10:11 p.m. for me last night. I'm like, this is perfect, man. and I'm used to watching UFC on my phone, crappy streaming app that's maybe legal or not legal. And now that I'm able to just pop it right on my phone, right on my TV, just like any other sports game or event, it's just been awesome. I've been loving it. There's been 2 events since it's gone that way, 324 and 325. One great fight on 324 a couple weeks ago. Last night was kind of a bit of a snoozer, but just the ability to, I like it was almost like I was just flipping through channels like, I saw, that is about to be on. Flip it right on and watch it. It's going to make a lot bigger of a fan out of me for UFC. And I think it's going to be a lot of people are going to be that way. Where it's like now it's just a lot more accessible to everybody. Now, if you subscribe for Paramount for 12 months, it's the same as what it would cost to rent one fight under the old pay-per-view model. Pretty nuts to think about. So
pretty
whether
amazing.
you like UFC or not, I just think it's a big time win for sports in general.
Absolutely.
I will be curious to see if I know right now the price hasn't gone up much, but if eventually Paramount Plus, if they have to jack the price up, to kind of offset the $7 billion, right? So
they already bumped it up $1. So I would guess, even if it goes, I mean, think about it. I was paying for that for Landman, which I did finish, and it was I did like the finale. I thought him appointing his dad as like a driller kind of made no sense, but other than that, I thought it was kind of a funny and solid ending. But if I'm going to pay for that for Landman, hey, screw it, throw UFC on this. It's right. no extra charge to me. So I'm sure it will go up, probably $1 a year until next thing you know, it's $30 a month or whatever. Right. But at the end of the day, it's still a win over that $90 pay-per-view, which I can't believe people ever even paid that to begin with.
Nuts. Well, kind of the same vein. Didn't I see the WWE, the Royal Rumble? Was that on ESPN?
Yeah, that was. Oh, that I don't understand what the deal is with that. People were complaining about the pricing on that.
Were they?
I'm not a WWE guy. I go to Royal Rumble party, but that was in Michigan, so I didn't go this year.
So
people have been really kind of shitting on WWE in general. Just the Triple H guy. It was now like the new Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
They're not happy with the direction he's taking it. I'm not gonna act like I have any idea what direction that is or why it's bad, but.
Yeah, but ESPN they got rid of UFC and they bought into WWE, but not all of the big events like Royal Rumble. They have basically every other event. But yeah, Royal Rumble's still a pay-per-view, which is kind of like what the UFC deal was. ESPN had all the Fight lower nights. UFC stuff, but then the main stuff was still pay-per-view, which is, I don't know. I don't know if that's good or smart business or, whatever, but I've had a few people text me and say the same thing about UFC being on Paramount. Like, when did ESPN get rid of UFC? It's on Paramount. I just randomly saw it. Now I can watch the fights. And I was like, yeah. I mean, it's great for people who already had Paramount.
Would you guys ever jump? Do you guys think that's a sport you'd ever like? Let's just say, for example, Conor McGregor announces, "Hey, I'm coming back. I'm fighting at the White House." Like, I mean, you guys are tuned in, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Gotta be.
Yeah. I'm definitely. I like when McGregor and some of the other guys were fighting. I'm a casual UFC guy for sure. I'll watch the fights, kind of like boxing. Big boxing matches I'll watch, but I'm not sitting here acting like I watch them all.
Right.
Theo Vaughn kind of explained it in a good way that I was like thinking about, like, why is this not bigger? If we were just walking down the street, and it's happened to me with a homeless guy a few weeks ago, maybe I mentioned that on here or not, just randomly they're brawling. You can't take your eyes off of it. So like, why is a UFC with trained mixed martial artists, like, how is this not? Maybe I do think in 50 years we'll look back on UFC like, wow, this is like, it's 10 times bigger than what it is. I think it could be. You just need the star power to help with that, obviously. But I don't know. It is pretty nuts to just think about. You're watching two guys fight until one gets knocked out or submitted, or obviously a lot of times it goes to decision or whatever. But it's pretty nuts to think about. You're just able to watch that.
It's and I get the appeal. It is animalistic. It's. I mean, we watch NFL players that 5-10 years after they're done, they're crippled for life. They have CTE, and then I watch one of these UFC fights, and again, I'm not a prude. I'll watch a big fight. I'm a casual viewer myself, but it still amazes me that it's allowed. I mean, it just is.
Yeah.
It's like,
I feel like, haven't you called it like legalized human cockfighting or something?
Exactly. Isn't that what it is? Yeah, they're human beings, so they can make their own decision to do it or not. I get that's the difference, but wow.
I want to go back to where does the interaction with a homeless person come in?
Yeah.
Like what did that
do? By that.
You couldn't take your eyes up?
Yeah, it was I don't know. Dude, these podcasts sometimes blend together, and I don't remember what I talk about, what I don't. It really was a nothing, but it was wild. I was just going for a walk on a Sunday. I was literally on the phone. My buddies were playing a video game, and they were streaming it. And I was watching it just as on my walk. And literally, this guy, all of a sudden I hear screaming, and this homeless guy on a bicycle just like freewheels it. The bicycle rams right into a building, and he just starts throwing down with another homeless guy. Like, this is what's weird, and you get desensitized when you live I've only lived in a city for 2 months, but like I did watch it, but I didn't even watch it to its like conclusion. I was like a block away, like watching across the street, just watched for like 20-25 seconds, like what the kind of laughing with this other hotel valet guy that's standing next to me, and I'm just like, all right, I'll just keep going on with my life. That's kind of just almost an everyday experience, man.
City life.
Homeless people, dude, are crazy.
Keep watching your friends play video game while two homeless people are.
Dude,
that's a question on its own. That's a question right there. I'm on my phone watching my friends play video games.
Think about it. What makes sport entertaining? It's drama. It's rivalry. It's having a true connection to the two teams. When you're watching two of your buddies play, NCAA football game. Those are the most fun. That's like the most fun you have rooting. That's the most fun you have playing, like sports in general. You really are living and dying on those games. So if I got nothing going on a Sunday, they're playing, throw it on, I'll watch it. It's better than me watching, I don't know, some,
Some rerun of Everybody Loves Raymond
like
or something.
then you just watching random YouTube videos or TikTok scrolling. It's like,
right.
You're interacting with these guys. It's just as entertaining as watching an NFL game, really.
Yeah. Hey, that's the generation thing, man. I know I would never do it, but more power to you.
You're saying I don't know what. Did you ever play video games in your day? Like was that even past your like NHL '94 or something? That was even past you.
Yeah, once they, I don't know. We'd have to look it up. It was probably the 90s, maybe late 90s,
early 90s, late 90s.
It was early 90s on Nintendo. Yeah,
like Techno-Bowl. You never played that?
About the farthest extent I got into was Wii, like Wii bowling, that type of thing.
Well, that's horrible. Well, okay, but wouldn't you and your buddies probably played some sort of what is it, Stratomatic football or whatever they would call it?
Yeah, there was some of that. They were so lame though. They weren't very not like the games nowadays.
but you probably watched your buddies play each other in that a time or two.
I guess it won't dog you too bad. All right, let's go off that topic. We'll have a little Tedertainment tonight coming up, but let's go right to the prep spotlight. Got a few things here. Last Friday night, Ovid Elsie swept Durand in a boys and girls basketball twin bill in the girls contest. You guys know how we all like Trice Tokar. Well, his sister, Kendall Tokar, put up 32 in the Marauders' 62-56 win. That's not a bad night, huh? 32 points.
Good.
Some teams don't score 32 points.
Right.
32.
How was the call this last Friday? Where were you at? Was that where you were at?
I was there for the boys game, as a matter of fact. Boys won 51-33 as Travis Milner led the way with 16. Now get this. I talked about this in the game. He was sick the prior couple of days. In fact, he had to be hooked up to an IV with fluids. He was so ill with the flu. He told the coach, I would rather die than miss this game. So he came off the bench, led the way with 16. That's a gamer. Hard. That's a gamer there, isn't it?
That's a hell of a line.
Wow.
So anyway, to answer your question,
what was the records of these teams? Was this a key matchup in the conference, or this is just love of the game? Just had to be there for this.
No,
Friday
they're
night,
both about
night.
500, and and second or third place in the MAC in MMAC. So it was a good game. It was a bloodbath, man. It was fun.
What it is he heard that Ted was on the call, and he needed one more game with Ted the sports guy calling.
Well, to answer your question, it was kind of fun. I'll be honest, probably the first 3 minutes of the game, I was having a hard time finding my groove, but after that, it came back to me. Because
I didn't know the ball. Just need to see the ball go through the rim, and then you were good.
Yeah, right. And I didn't know the players either, so it took a while to get acclimated to that. But after that, it went okay. Some other things: Owasso swept Brandon in girls basketball. Danica Dwyer went 28-10 in the girls win. Boys won by 24 as Colton Pepin led the way with 19. The boys now over 500. Dave Owens doing a nice job with Owasso. The New Lothrop girls suffered their first defeat, losing to Freeland 55-42, despite 20 by Caitlin Wendling's 20. And speaking of Freeland, the Falcons boys beat Mount Pleasant 61-47. Wilson Huckabee, Tristan Comer each had 17 for Coach John Fattel's team. Nice win. They're continuing to play pretty well. They'll be ready to go once we get to late February here for the tournament, I think.
Yeah, they had this past Friday off, but you know what that means is 3 games this week. So 3 games upcoming.
Right.
Sometimes we had a couple. I remember we had 1 or 2 of those. I feel like maybe just 1, but you get to a point in the season where having the 3-game week is almost better, because it's like you get some of the practices. You're like, I'm over practicing. True. I just want to play games. Let's play all games.
Ironically, basketball almost more than football is a marathon, man, for high school. These seasons, and I think they shortened the season by a week this year. MHSA, they did a good job with that. I think they did shorten the season by a week this year. But I remember that from when I was playing, man. And especially if you're just a middling, 500 team, you're practicing 3 times in the week, 2.5 hour practices. You're like, my God, dude, it's only 1 day off a week, a Saturday, which even then you probably have an open gym or something like that. It's a grind, man. So that's where we're at right now in the season. Just another, few weeks, and then you can smell March and you're ready to roll.
It's funny you say that, Jared. I mean, I never had that feeling when I played. I mean, I couldn't get enough of it. Couldn't get enough.
Practice?
Even practice was fun. Yeah, I loved it.
I enjoyed the practice. I just, sometimes it was like, I just want to play the games. The games were more fun, I guess, than practice. But
that's true.
It comes down to coaching. You need to sense that with your team. Okay, you know what? Let's go see a movie today. Let's take a Thursday off, no practice today. Like that's part of being a coach, not just running them into the ground. And I would guess you guys must have just been playing patty cake at practice or scrimmaging all practice. You got to really love your craft, man. You got to be like LeBron James. You love the routine, to love practice.
Yeah, we did do a lot of scrimmaging. You're right.
Yeah, which that's a blast. Obviously, that's fun. Who doesn't love that?
Jared would be the definition of a player's coach.
Ted, I see a movie.
Ted, I'm surprised
you got to do that every once in a while, man.
Do a little team building, some team bonding events like that. Were you going to bring up the Snowfest?
I was. It's actually the 3-Point Podcast Prep Spotlight Performance of the week. Congratulations to the Corunna Snow Sculpting team taking first place at Frankenmuth Zender Snowfest. That takes some skill. I don't know if you saw on social media what they carved out of the snow and ice, but very talented kids there.
This is going to blow your mind with the video game thing. I'm pretty sure Corunna has like the number one Rocket League player, which is a video game where you control go-karts with a soccer ball and you push them into it's a huge game. But I seriously think they have like the number one Rocket League player in the state. Can you maybe do some digging and maybe come up with some of his stats for Prep Spotlight? I'm pretty sure Casey knows some more details on this kid. He's worth highlighting, man. That's a big time ordeal. That's probably 100,000 kids that are playing Rocket League in the state of Michigan. He's number one.
You bring up a good point. I think I've talked a little bit about esports in the past, but where do you get the information from? I guess I will have to get it from Casey.
Yeah, that's who told me about it. Yeah,
it's not in the paper. I can tell you that.
It's not in the Argus.
You talk about something that should be in the Argus. What a great story that is.
Right.
Yes. I'll see what I can find out.
I know you might turn your nose up to, but video games, man, they're getting bigger and bigger, and it's a train that's not stopping.
Nope, I don't turn my nose up to it. I just I'll comment and say it's not for me, but I'm not going to turn my nose up on it.
Different times, but I mean, you can make some legit money too doing it. So
really,
oh yeah,
maybe that'd be a good nil thing, right? They could get some coin for that if he's number one in the nation.
Probably more likely than me as a scrubby quarterback at Corunna. That's probably a more likely route to make actually some money is those Rocket Leaguers. So not a bad point.
I do got one final thing. It's not really prep related, but sort of. Eli Reinhardt. I don't know if you saw that. He is the new Grand Valley State offensive coordinator and son of Montrose's Dennis Reinhardt. That's a pretty big gig there for the young man. He is young.
He was at Saginaw Valley. Well, first off, he was in Montrose in high school. We beat him twice. No big deal. But then he was at Saginaw Valley. And then I don't know how he ended up in Texas somehow.
Yeah.
And then I think he had some success in Texas, and now he's coming back to Grand Valley. Nothing like, young Tony and East's Ferris defense kind of waiting for him to kind of baptize him in the GLIAC. So
right.
Fun story, though. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a little break and wrap up the podcast with a little Tedertainment Tonight. Right after this. All right, let's start with you, Matt. I know you saw a documentary that I'm intrigued. I haven't had the time to watch it yet, but it's definitely high on my list.
Yeah, so the new the 1980 USA hockey team. There's been a few documentaries about the Miracle on Ice. The hockey team that won the gold medal in 1980. Obviously, there's the Disney movie Miracle that I found out in watching this that my wife has not seen, and I was a little. I had to ask her like 3 times. Oh, you haven't seen this? Like you really just on a random Saturday afternoon didn't come across watching Miracle or something, but she hasn't. Right. So we watched, on Netflix, they have a new documentary about the team, and they have, I think it's about 12 of the players there to talk about it. They show a bunch of really good footage. So, I mean, if you follow that, that's one of those, I love Olympic sports. I love Olympic basketball, especially, but something about that story, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts, Ted. I mean, you were the only one of us that was alive when that actually happened. Something about that story. I will watch anything that has to do with that team and just that whole situation. Al Michaels was in it, so you got to hear him. He had the legendary call. Yep. So the minute I saw that they were doing that, I was like, I'll watch that as soon as I can when it comes out. And it didn't disappoint. Now, it wasn't necessarily a bunch of like new information. There was some new stuff because they had Herb Brooks as kids. And, because obviously Herb Brooks, the coach, has passed away like 20 years ago or something. But it was cool to hear, some of their insight on the whole situation. The players talked about him and, how he was as a coach and just why he was the way that he was, a little bit of not a player's coach at all. And there was a reason. So hearing the reason, because a lot of the college players were from the East Coast and then from the Midwest, Minnesota. So They didn't like each other when they came together. So no, it was just awesome. And then hearing the players, it got emotional at times because they were watching the footage of, like their parents and different interviews and, the plays, what's going to happen, the plays that are coming, but seeing it and watching the players like relive those moments. I would watch it again. It was that good. 3 out of 3 on the 3-point podcast scale. Again, I love those stories when like hearing it from their perspective, you know what I mean? And Al Michaels, what it was like being in the arena, calling those games and just hearing their stories and seeing the emotion. And you can just see why Olympic athletes, they're built different. Those people, they put in so much work to be on that stage. So I would, even if you don't have that much interest in Olympic hockey, but you just like a good sports story, a good feel-good story, especially going back to kind of where we started, the times in the world and in the country were not good at that time. And that whole story, that team united people. And Mike Eruzione, he had the sign-off line of the whole documentary. He basically said, maybe we need a 1980 right now, or he said something along those lines. And so no, I would highly recommend it, watching it as soon as you can.
Wait, is it a Netflix?
Yeah, Netflix. It's a hour and a half, hour 40 minutes. Perfect.
Yep, I'll check that out real soon. By the next time we record, I'll give you my thoughts too. But that's awesome. I have one thing.
You were alive though, so like, did you? Yeah. The game was on tape delay though, right? So like, do you remember watching it or like what was that?
I remember watching it on tape delay, but already caught wind because I was at a basketball game, I believe.
My Uncle George's basketball game. I remember him saying.
Yeah,
like 1980, right? His high school basketball game. They announced it.
They announced who won. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes. And the place went crazy. The gym went wild, man. Everybody was following that story. And like you mentioned, there was political stuff going on with Russia and everything else.
That's what made it big, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like let's just say if a team of that stature, like they were Canada, we beat Canada. I don't think there's a documentary being made about it 45 years later. That was the tension with Russia. That was a little bit after the Cold War. I guess it really been started, but
that's what made it.
Or was it right in the heart of it?
It was in the heart of the Cold War. Ted knows more than me, but because I'm just fresh off watching this. But it was also the Soviets. The hockey team had won gold medal like 20 years in a row. They were better than what USA basketball was. Right. Where USA basketball basically looked unbeatable. The Soviet hockey team was that times 10. People were like, you just have zero chance. No one has ever beaten this team. And then the U.S. hockey team is just a bunch of college players, right. So.
And that was back in the days, too. It was true amateurs, the U.S., taking on professionals, the Russians. They were basically paid, man. It was a huge upset. And the other thing that always gets kind of put to the side, U.S. still had to win another game to get the gold medal.
Yeah, that was just the semis. They still had to go win a gold, which
again, beat Sweden, didn't they? I believe.
Finland.
Finland.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yep. But Herb Brooks had a couple. I don't want to spoil too much, but I can't even imagine what it'd be like playing for this guy. But the lines that he had in the locker room before and during that Finland game, oh man, it just gives you chills to see the players talk about it.
Oh, I definitely am tuning into that one. That sounds great. I only have one. I usually don't talk about network television or network dramas very often, but I was intrigued by this one. It came after one of the playoff games on Fox a couple weeks ago, and it's called Memory of a Killer, and it stars Patrick Dempsey and Michael Imperioli.
I knew exactly. Yeah, I knew. I saw the commercial. I knew you were going to be tuning in because your guy Michael Imperioli. You love him.
That was one reason. I didn't know what to expect, but it had a pretty good concept. Patrick Dempsey plays a normal guy by the day. He's a copier salesman, but by night he's a hitman. So, and it kind of reminds me of Batman too, because he drives this clunker car in his real life, and then when it's time to go to his hitman work, he drives it to this shack out in the middle of the woods, and he's got this Mercedes or some kind of
Rolls
just fancy
Royce or
car.
something.
Yeah. It reminds you of the Batmobile, and he just turns into a whole different person. So it's kind of an interesting concept.
Where does Imperioli fit into this? What is his role exactly?
He's Dempsey's boss. He works at
the
a
copier place.
What's that?
At the copier place, you're saying?
No. Hitman boss.
Classic.
So you can see where that would fit too. So anyway, for network TV, Fox Television, it's not bad. It's not bad. I'll stick with it and see if they go downhill at all. But it's not a bad little watch.
Did you? There's people always post this like with I think it's the New York Mets whenever they suck. It's Michael Imperioli from a Mitch Albom like TV movie like One More Day. Did you ever watch that? I've only ever seen images from it.
Yes, I saw
and I love
that.
the book. I do love the book by Mitch Albom.
I saw it once. Yeah,
and it's just the funniest image of him wearing like baseball gear. Michael Imperioli, great actor. I love him, but he's not a baseball player, to put it lightly.
Right.
I just have one small thing, and I just went to the movies earlier today, and I got tickets. Next thing I know, I'm checking out the tickets are $50. I'm like, what the hell for 2 tickets?
For a movie? For a movie?
Two tickets, $50. I'm like, why are they so much? It was, of course, I'm not very smart. It was after I'd already bought them. Like, what the hell? Like, I bought them. Like, we'll go to the movie. So we get there, and it's this 4DX thing. And it's for this movie called Send Help with Dylan O'Brien and Rachel McAdams. It's a good flick. I wouldn't say you have to go see it in the theaters, but 100% would recommend just watching it second it comes out on streaming or whatever. Okay. So we go to this, and it's like literally this 4DX is like, it's like you're at Disney World where it's, animatronic, and it's like you're literally on a roller coaster. Fans are in this place. Water, they're shooting water on you. Like when the plane crashes in that's not a spoiler. When the plane crashes in the movie in the water, like you get blasted with water. Your chair's going up and down with the waves. But what was weird about it and what's kind of crazy about it is this movie's kind of a thriller, so there's like a few jump scares in it, and like I seriously like covering my head like bombs going off like every time like a jump scare would happen because it's blowing air on you, it's rattling your chair, and it's like the lights are popping into place, and it was like kind of wild. Like it made me want to see a movie like Avatar in 4DX. I've never been in a 4DX theater. Honestly, I didn't really know that they existed. Like kind of seemed like, oh yeah, there's maybe one of those in the world. This is just a Sunday matinee for like kind of a random movie that I wouldn't say deserves 4DX treatment, but it was pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty awesome.
Worth the $50?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the theater is it's a crock. Every time you go, it's basically next thing you know, it's $80. If you get popcorn, a drink, 2 tickets, that's basically $60 right there. So like I said, for the right movie, for the Odyssey or something like that, you do it. Like, what's another $10 on top of basically what's already an expensive trip? Like, Top Gun, Avatar, like this is awesome.
Sounds like that's what they do at the Sphere in Las Vegas too.
Right, and that's probably times 10 at the Sphere. Right. That's the elite experience of that. And I saw the Eagles, Hotel California. I watched a whole 10-minute rip of them playing Hotel California at the Sphere. It looked like freaking awesome. It's worth a watch, even just on your phone. It's worth a watch. Like that's the way to do it, man.
Yeah, you guys know down the road I'm going to be going out there, so I'll give you a review on the Sphere too sometime down the road here. Looks like it's going to be great. All right, guys, I think we made it through a Sunday night recording of the podcast. Let's call it good, unless you got anything else to add. Good to go?
No.
All right. As always, we're brought to you by the great folks at Memorial Healthcare's Wellness Center. Make sure you get in shape with a 2026 membership. Follow the Wellness Center on Facebook and download the Wellness Center app. Our other great partners include AZee Branding Solutions, ALS of Michigan, Blackstones Public House, Great Lakes Apparel Company, Jacobs Insurance Company, Kori Shook & Associates Real Estate Services, Nelson House Funeral Homes, Nichols Painting, Success Group Mortgage and Servicing, and the Shiawassee County Fair. Also, the next Castle game of the week, Casey and Joe will be back at the Ovid Elsie Gym Friday night, February 6th, 7 o'clock tip, New Lothrop at Ovid Elsie, MMAC game of the week. Peace and love, everybody. Be kind. Thanks for listening.